Okay. Mark Gamache is a very young man. We knew him when he was a very young person, when we were working as teachers at the Kashim Ibrahim College of Education in Maiduguri many years ago. And Markus, as we know him, we call him Jauro. Now, Jauro is a leader in the Fulani, in a Fulani language. Fulani is one of the largest population in almost entire African continent. They are almost across every country, from Nigeria to Senegal, Mauritania, Ethiopia, Somalia, Senegal, whatever. And Markus Gamache is a young person that has been working very hard amongst the Muslims. He grew up with the Muslims just like the Fulanis too. And we give him the name Jauro EYN, the leader of EYN, from amongst the different tribes. He easily connects to people, and he is very lively. And working with his interfaith group, with the Muslim population, he's made a landmark. And that's no wonder the Church of the Brethren has appointed him as the liaison officer. And he's been working with Jay Whitmer and several others for many years. We want to thank God for Markus and his life. He's a brain, a very young, humble man. He looks very young, but he also was vying to be the governor of Adamawa State, the vice deputy governor at one time, even though it didn't work out, but he made a very forceful move, and that connected most of our people and brought us together to have one voice. We thank God he's here with us, visiting and talking to us about some of the things he's been doing with the church in Nigeria and the Church of the Brethren here in the U.S. I'm sure he's going to show us some of the slides of Guruku. I hope to visit that place again with Brother Mark in November, December, by God's grace. Markus, shini Bethany kenan. In Allah ya da saka an kasara mana abubuwan da suke nan. Ubangiji ya taimake ka. God bless you as we listen to you. Thank you.
Ina karfin shaitan, inda Yesu yana mulki. Ina karfin shaitan, babu sam. Ina karfin shaitan, inda Yesu yana mulki. Ina karfin shaitan, babu sam. Babu sam. Babu sam. Ina karfin shaitan, babu sam. Babu sam. Babu sam. Ina karfin shaitan, babu sam. Greetings to you in the name of Jesus Christ. Greetings also from the church leadership in Nigeria, more especially Reverend Joel Stephen Billy, the president of EYN. He has purposefully called me to say that wherever I'm meeting with the brethren in the state, I should please extend greetings of the leadership of EYN. I'm very glad to be here. It is indeed my first time to be at Bethany. I've been coordinating so much about Bethany students that would like to come out here, registering for TOEFL, preparing their tickets, taking them to the airport and receiving them. I have heard so much about Bethany. And Bethany has produced many leaders of EYN, and I have worked with them. Indeed, it is a blessing for me to be here today, and I thank God that has granted me this opportunity. I would like to say thank you also to my brother, Dale, and my sister, Deb, who has agreed graciously to host me on this trip and to agree to leave all that they are doing to sacrifice to travel with me all around USA, I can say. When we traveled to McPherson and Iowa, I told the people out there, you guys are living at the end of the world, because it has took us several hours and even overnight before we could reach there. So to me, I wouldn't believe the place is so huge like this that it has a lot of miles to travel before you could reach out to your brothers and sisters. This is a wonderful blessing. This trip has been a learning trip for me, more educating and also more relaxed. I have had several occasions where in hours I don't even have time to rest, but on this trip, I want to say that God has provided for me time to rest more than the time I have to rest at home. To be honest with you, I always say that before my professors, I feel somehow to speak, because Reverend Professor Musa Mambla and his wife are the reasons why I went to college. They have done, I don't know them, but they did something that I don't think some student would have that privilege, to fill out an admission form on my behalf and prepare the admission and send out the admission to me. And fortunate enough for me, the wife was my head of department in business education, and he was lecturing philosophy. And during that time, Professor Musa Mambla will be in a class. Some student that does not belong to his class will always come, and they will even be at the window to watch and to listen to what he was hearing. He could dance, he could sing during class and make students lively. We always want to be in his class, even if it is not our class. But God in his own making today, he is now here, and I'm happy to meet him as a father. He is not actually a teacher or professor to me, he's a father to me. Going back to our culture, there is no how I can call him by his name, except in occasion like this. His name is father to me, and the wife is mother. That is our culture, and we go by that. And people get confused. Is this really your father? Yes, he is my father. We have went to several places, and we are opportune to talk to brothers and sisters. But we have been moving with a topic from Matthew chapter 5, 43 to 48, that talks about loving your enemy. A little background of that is about myself. I was born in 1968 into a pagan family. My father had 4 wives, and 5 even at a time. When I was 7 years old, I was taken to a primary school, and that school happened to be, there was no any teacher there. It was a Quranic teacher that teaches us how to read Arabic and how to pray as Muslim. We did that for 3 years, and we thought we were on the right track. One of my brother, a cousin brother, came as a student teacher, and he gathered all the children there. The man who was teaching us the Quran was not our tribal man. He's Fulani by tribe. He could only speak Fulfulde and the Arabic. He has not been to a normal school. He was taught only to read Quran, and he was teaching us only Quran. And my brother came and said, do you know that if you become a Muslim and you continue from here, you graduate from here as you go further, if you are not able to pronounce Arabic as your own language, you will be beaten mercilessly, or they will put a very hot rod into a fire and they will hit with you. We were terribly afraid. And whenever I'm saying this statement back home, people will think I have not met Jesus Christ. That threat that fear made us to say, which religion are you following? He said he's a Christian. All of us diverted to his class. And that is how I start my Christian life. At the age of 10, that is when I was introduced into Christian religion. After 3 years, my father went to Borno side in Gwaza and married a woman. And that woman, my father didn't know that she was a Muslim. Some couple of months, they trooped from Gwaza and got hold of my father. You are going into jail. Why? Because you married a Muslim woman and you are a pagan. I think women have a problem because we tend to give our life for women. And he said, I'm forfeiting paganism, I'm going to Islam because of this woman. That is how my father became a Muslim. He was a leader, he was a blamer, and he forfeited his blamership because now he thinks he's a Muslim, he don't want to rule the pagans. And then he said, every person must change his religion because I'm now a Muslim. The Muslim people told him, if your children didn't become a Muslim, you will go to hellfire. So forcefully, everybody must change his religion. I've been 3 years in this religion of Christianity. I like singing, and I have rest on Sunday. I don't go to farm. I don't go rearing animals. That was a very good thing for me. Not that I know much about Jesus Christ. I don't know the benefit of even becoming Christian. I have to be honest with you. But I like the singing, getting together and having the rest on Sunday because Christians don't work on Sunday. And then we will have all quarrels at home. Because this is a polygamy family, other people will say that your son is not going to work and then he will not get food on Sunday. That was when my father was a pagan. He insisted we will eat food. But once the time he became a Muslim, that is where the crisis started. Some have agreed, some left, some said we want to continue with our father, but I didn't feel like going back again. Being I was told how dangerous it is going to be in the future. I said, I'm not going back to a place that I will be beaten. So I continued. My mother agreed. Out of the 5 women, she said, okay, I'm going with my son. That time I was the only male child from my mother. So she agreed that she wanted to stay with me. We went out, just gathered some grass and some corn stick, house is made. Simply that time, there was no any big issue of building a house. And then the hut was prepared for us, and then we are there. For up to 2 years, when I was 15, my mother agreed to go back and join my mother and to go back to Islam. But even when she went back, she will cook food and then put over the fence for me. I will come and collect. She has been so nice to me. The love of mother has been so touching. And then I continued at the age of 15. At least I will be able to maintain my own farm. I can go to labor on the field for people, get paid. And because we are living a community life, I can go to any neighbor's house because people will gather on a very big calabash to eat food. It used to be a calabash. There was nothing like this is that we have. And then we all gather and then eat food. So that was the life I went, not having a very good place to stay from one place to another. When I finished my secondary school, that is how God used Professor Musa and his wife to get me into college. And from there, the Lord has been so gracious. I didn't know that he was an ordained minister of EYN, and then I started working with EYN. Then EYN connected us together even after when I have finished the college. That is a short story about my life and about how I connect to the Muslim society. My father died as a Muslim in 2005. My mother still lives. She is now with me in Jos, and she lives on the church compound, and that love still continues. That love is still putting more zeal into my life to continue with the Muslim and Christian brothers. Talking back about the crisis in Nigeria, the ethnicity and religious crisis in Nigeria have started quite a long time, only that it has changed several names. In 1983 and 1984 up to 86, there was a Muslim fundamentalist that came up to kill some people called Maitachine. I was up to the age that I could think for myself during that time, and several people have been killed. I know that my friend lost his brother, a policeman, and the cops were brought home from Maiduguri to my village. And it kept on going because the country is being mixed with different tribal and different religions. But we have been living side by side, and it was not quite so dangerous as this one. We could stay and sleep in the same bed with Muslim friends and brothers. But it kept on going that the suppression, the gap is moving on. But I'm sorry to say that you are theologians here, but the pastors and the imam have contributed a lot in the division of Christians and Muslims, because the pastor will preach on the pulpit, if you are a Muslim, you will fire. That is a direct word. If you are a Muslim, you go to hellfire. When I was growing up, we go to some gatherings of the New Life for All and other things. That is what I will always hear. So I wouldn't like even to associate with Muslims, because if this person is going to hellfire, why should I be a partner to him? Why should I be a friend to him? And then the Muslims will say, even shaking hands with Christians will make you unclean. That is what the Muslims would say. Eating in the same bowl with Christians will make you unclean. You will be you cannot be holy, and then you will not make heaven. But being on the same bed and other things, that has been so much going on for some years. The children and the generation are growing up with that hatred in their mind, which means if we are going out for crusade, for preaching and other things, we will only identify the Muslims to be our enemies, because they are a stumbling block to gospel. They are not receiving the gospel. They are not coming. They are not gaining any life. So to us, there are people that we must just probably not even associate with them. But the Muslims came up and say, if you are a true Muslim and you want to make heaven, you must get rid of these Christians and other religions. So which means they are ready to kill if you stand on their way, whether not standing on their way or what, if they want to do what they want to do, is just to kill. Now this is the difference. For us, we know where they are going. But for the Muslim is that, let's kill these people so that we will have more broader way to do our Islam activities. That is why I said it kept on changing them. Now, politics came in after the military. The military were there, they can crush any kind of violence within 24 hours. But when the politics came in, there are a lot to do, not only religious, but ethnicity. If this person is coming from my own tribe, it is only my own tribe that will be recognized. It is only my community that will benefit from the government. It shifted again into a religion. If it is a Muslim man who is in power, you will see huge mosques coming up. It is only Muslims that will be appointed, more employment going to the Muslim side, and the Christians will be neglected. It comes again into the region, the northern region, southern, west, and east. It is only those regions that will be developed. But again, the economy kept on crumbling. There was no employment. The poverty increased. People were not able to raise enough for their food. And then children are going to school. There will be no money for school fees. Then the bribery and corruption came in because it is necessary for the people to provide for their family. They don't have it. The corruption have been just growing up. Even though UIN as a church, the Church of the Brethren in Nigeria, stood as a peace church, and they don't want any retaliation, they don't want to go into any dubious act that the government is doing. But again, you can't control all the membership of your church. You as a leader will be able to hold on. But you can't say that you can control everybody. We must have some people that would buy with the world, and they want to go with the world. Boko Haram was born out of so many factors that I have just mentioned. Employment is one of it, bribery is one, injustice is one of it, corruption and poverty. The issue of the religion is strongly there because people feel that when they fight for this jihad, if they kill their own mother, kill their own father, kill even brothers and sisters, they will go straight to heaven. Testimonies of some few people that were still keeping them in secret from the Boko Haram say that you will be given a whole sort of ammunition and one big gun, And if you are able to kill your own father, you will be promoted in a higher rank in the Boko Haram. If you kill your mother, you will be promoted on the higher rank. If you kill your best friend, the most best friend, you will be promoted. So they want to be elevated to a higher rank that they will have even security among them and that is guiding them. That gave rise that the appointment into a Boko Haram would actually take up to 500,000 for the first appointment, and some other people take up to half of that amount to be appointed. What is happening to this redundant youth? No school, no job, no enough food to eat, and this temptation of money out there, though, they will go and collect it. So more and more youth came, not necessarily that they want to kill, but they want to make that money. But once they are trapped, they have collected the money, they are forced to do what the Boko Haram have asked them to do. They will only start for one day, they will be gone into it. The destruction started in Maiduguri where Professor Musa and his wife came. I may not be right, but you have to correct me. He was one among of the people on the list that should be eliminated in Maiduguri during that time. And so many other notable persons. What happened in Maiduguri is that they have their spies given details of even how you open your door. They will give all these details, they will mark you, and they will come at an appropriate time. You will not know how they will get into your house. They will silently slaughter you and slaughter people around, raping women. They will do that. The security are not able to checkmate them. Do you know the reason why the securities are not able to checkmate them? Because of the bribe. They will pay heavy amount for the securities to be silent about this, and they could do all that they want. The Nigerian army, the Nigerian police are big enough to contain all that they have been passing through from the beginning. But because there was so much money involved in the bribery and the corruption, they do all that they want. You will be surprised that they can go and kill top-ranking government officials and even kill the policemen, kill some military. Money is involved. When we go deep, so much of the military officers were arrested, huge amount in their bank account, millions of naira in their bank account, millions of dollars. Where did they get it? They are selling out our right and our lives. Then it grew. After all these things in Maiduguri, we thought it is just going to be ended in Maiduguri. People started running away from Maiduguri to Lassa, to Michika, to Madagali, to Mubi. People said, Maiduguri is not safe again. Lest we knew that from Maiduguri it kept on shifting, all the cities, day after day, week after week. You will be displaced from this place, you move forward. They will go there and meet you. You will move forward, they will go there and meet you. Until when even the UN headquarters was totally taken over. We shouted, not up to 3 months, we told headquarters, please run away. Bring all your documents to different places. They said, we are praying and Jesus is on our side. These people are not coming. I'm going too far, but let's talk about Matthew 5, 43 to 48. And I always said that Jesus said, I'm going and to prepare a place for you. I will come and receive you. When UN headquarters said, we are praying and our prayers have been answered and these people will not come. And then they have been pushed away. Even the biggest town close to UN headquarters have been taken over. They ran to Jos, other people into other cities. All the ministers of UN, over 600 people, have been scattered all over Nigeria. It took quite a long time for EYN to know that this is where these pastors is. And I want to tell you today that there are many staffs of EYN. We don't know exactly where they are squatting up to this time that I'm telling you. Church as itself doesn't know. Some of their relations and friends do know. But EYN headquarters at itself did not locate where their staffs are up to now. And then when Jesus said that promise, I said, why didn't Jesus come at this time? We are always running, and from one place to another. We are losing lives. Church is all destroyed. No food, no water. This is the right time for Jesus to come and say, okay, come, let us go home. It's enough now. But he didn't come. But he promised us that he's going to prepare a place. Is it that the place is not ready for us to go? Or the place has not been enough to take all of us? And he says, love your enemy, do good to them, pray for them, Love those that is persecuting you, those that are killing you, those that are slaughtering babies, killing each day and then destroying your sanctuaries. He says you should love them and even pray for them. Do good to them. Give them water, give them food, give them shelter. I said, did Jesus really knew that this is going to happen during Boko Haram regime? And we as Nigerian Christians will face this situation. Did he put that into consideration? Or that verse and the chapter was not written to the Northeast Nigerian Christians? Maybe that doesn't include me. That doesn't include Markus Gamache at all. Said we should love them and even give them food. How possible could that be? As a human being, I don't know, you have to think for yourself. Do you really have enemies? Do you have enemy? Your enemy may be different from my own enemy, but do you really have? You have to ask yourself. And then if you are able to identify one, try to think how you will give him your own love. It says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Not only about enemy, let's talk about loving your neighbor as your own self. My own blood brothers that are into Islam presently, I have difficulties to hug them. I have difficulties to welcome them under my roof to eat food together. I have difficulties to extend what I have even when they are hungry. Love your neighbor. Who is your neighbor? The difficult aspect of time that I find it very difficult is that these Muslims slaughtered pastors, younger children, women, and men, and then you will see this man standing in front of you. And he did not say that he should come, but you will take the gospel of Lord to them. To me, and other people will also testify, the Christian community would sometimes be happy if there is a bomb blast somewhere that is only meant for the Muslims. Many will say, okay, thank God you have answered our prayers. And I don't think that is the way Jesus said. In the northern east of Nigeria, we will be glad today to say that the camp of Boko Haram have been set ablaze and they are all destroyed. People will be jumping and they will be walking on their own foot for 100 miles going home because they know that they are secured and there is no any threat again. There is no more any enemy. But the Bible said no. Pray for them, do good for them, feed them, and then give them life. The life in the love of God, in the love of Jesus Christ. As a theologians, the Call Bible College where people have been trained to be pastors was taken over by Boko Haram. Everything in that college belongs to them. No any section of the college that they didn't go in. The Bibles have been taken away, have been destroyed, have been bastardized, and everything that you are able to think of in that college was vandalized. All the pastors took on their heels and they have to run. And Jesus said, love those people and do good to them. You have joined us in the pens of conflict that we find ourselves. You have prayed, you have visited the place, you have contributed so much money, millions of dollars to the Church of the Brethren, and you continue to do that. And the Church of the Brethren in Nigeria stood up to this time, even in the midst when people are going back home and still they are being chased back. In the Lassa area, it's not a long time ago that the farmers have been attacked, some were killed, some were injured. It's not a long time ago, 2 people from the Abuja camp went home. 1 man was killed by the Boko Haram and 1 is still alive. He ran back again. The Church of the Brethren in Nigeria have been very active in preaching the peace and also maintaining the peace, as the Bible said, through the help that you people have provided, through your prayers, through your support. And it is indeed a very big surprise to us to see that Bethany have extended a hand of love to us to establish a center in Jos. This is not only going to benefit EYN, it's not only going to benefit Church of the Brethren in Nigeria, it is going to benefit Christians and those who have the zeal to study theology in Nigeria at large. It is indeed a relationship between Bethany and Church of the Brethren, but it is going to be a center for all Christians in the whole Nigeria. It's not talking about even Northeast. So many people are already excited to see when is this thing going to take off. And that is indeed a center where we as human beings think is safe for Christians to have their own activities. Since it is in the middle of Nigeria, it is popularly about 90% or 95% Christian area and very close to the city of Abuja. Whatsoever, to our own thinking humanly, is safe in court. And we are citing that place. And with all help of God, we are going to extend that also to the Northeast. If all things being calm, security certified, we are going to do that. I would like you to give me more wisdom, give me more courage. As somebody who stands to preach and to talk about love of God, please, I want to hear from you, either through email or through your prayers. How can I give love to my enemies? Women are always identifying people that have killed their husband in the midst of public. They say, this is the man, the Muslim man that slaughtered my husband. And some children will say, this man killed my father, I saw him. And then how can you embrace that person? Give me more of that through your prayers. God bless you and thank you for listening.
We're going to give you an opportunity to ask questions of Markus. You know, I was aware as you were talking, Markus, that in the United States we would call it kind of insider talk or coded language. There are a lot of things that you talked about that not everyone necessarily understands, and what we do understand is very complicated, and you unpacked a lot there from your own growing up years, having a strong Muslim influence yourself and then converting to Christianity, what's happened in your family. And something that was really powerful for me, it's very easy for Americans, especially in the Church of the Brethren, to make heroes out of EYN. And in lots of ways, they are. But what I heard you talk about, too, was the fact that we have mixed feelings. Some of us really would like a bomb to go off in the Boko Haram camp and kill all of them, or kill all of the Muslims. And yet we're confronted again and again in Scripture that says, that's not exactly what Jesus said. It's not exactly how Jesus lived his life. And just the understanding that this whole mess with Boko Haram didn't happen in a day. There wasn't one day that there was no Boko Haram and the next day there was a Boko Haram. Because in part it happened because Christian preachers were saying, you will burn in hell if you're a Muslim or if you have relationships with Muslims. And in a sense, Muslims were saying the same thing. You can't associate with them because they're Christian. These are complications that are easy to pass by when you hear that there's this terrible group of Muslims called Boko Haram killing Christians, burning churches, and sending them to far corners of Nigeria and West Africa. So I appreciate you telling it not as a simple story. And when we look at our own lives, our own country, we know our story is not a simple one either. But it's the story that God has given us all, yes? We're human beings. And we do some of the things that we should do, and we do a lot of things that we shouldn't do, as Paul reminded us. So I just wanted to say how much I appreciate the fact that you're willing to tell the whole truth, and to say we still don't have the whole truth in our church, in our lives, but we're grateful for the opportunity of a partnership with Bethany. And though we're just beginning to realize, and Steve maybe more than almost anybody else, our dean, that this will not be something that we accomplish in 6 months or a year, this relationship. We won't even understand it probably fully in 5 years. But our intention is to have a relationship with EYN that is equal from the very beginning, one in which you contribute things to the partnership and we contribute things to the partnership. You, together with us, make decisions along the way about how best together we can help to educate EYN students to be, the best pastors and church leaders they can be. And I'll tell you just a quick story, and I'm not sure if I've ever told you this, but 15 years ago, I was a consultant for Habitat for Humanity in Eastern Europe, in the Albania, Kosovo area, Serbia. And one of the things that I learned, that terrible, terrible ethnic cleansing that happened there, happened to a large extent because of very either uneducated or poorly educated Orthodox priest community. They weren't educated, and they brought their sense of superiority and the need to separate themselves from people that were different than they were. And so ethnic cleansing began to a significant degree because an uneducated clergy were willing to bring their biases into the marketplace. And what stopped that terrible ethnic cleansing was the Franciscan priests and friars who were educated, who could see the bigger picture, that we can get along, we can be one, we can make a difference together in our community. And that's what I hear you saying that EYN is about right now. In spite of all of this, we can forgive and we can move forward and we can build a better country. And that is such a powerful message for us here in a very divided country. So thank you. Are there questions that you have for Markus? Like how's the move going? Some of you may know that for about 2 years, EYN headquarters was in Jos, and now it's moved back to the Northeast. How's that going? We've heard news of Boko Haram attacks in the area again, and really awful attacks. Just how about the migration back of people who have been in internally displaced persons camps? So those are some of my questions, and I'm sure you have some too.
I have the mic for whoever wants to ask the question.
What I want to add, even before I welcome question, is what the Church of the Brethren has donated so much money for food and for clothing and other things to many displaced persons. And that has moved for up to 2 years now, and so much have invested into the life of people. Many have been rescued, many have gotten at least a place in a camp where they can even cook the food. Because even when you have the food stuff back home, you will be cooking and these people will come, you will be running. You will not be settled there for 3 days and then they will meet you again. The camps are so helpful that they could sit there and cook the food and eat. And then God has helped us to build a camp that is meant for Christians and Muslims. We have up to 79 houses presently for Christians and Muslims. We have widows section. We have water running 24 hours. We have a clinic. We have church being built by Muslims and Christians, and they are living peacefully. They are learning from one another. More trauma healing workshops have been organized, and all this help is out of your effort that you are here and out of your prayers. So when I was talking about Matthew 5:43, about loving your enemies, I would like to say that EYN have now presently demonstrated although it will not be welcomed by many Christians, but at least we have brought in Muslims to see that for those that have not agreed with the ideology of Boko Haram, they are not part of the Boko Haram. They are nominal Muslims. We are getting together. They are inviting more and more people that have agreed and abandoning the ideology of Boko Haram. We are moving together. If you go and hold a Bible class in that place, Bible school, Bible studies, when Dale and his wife and their group Take 10, Tell 10 from Eton went, we had a Bible study together with them, and all the Muslim children came together. You cannot identify who is a Christian, who is a Muslim. They will be singing, jumping, and reading the Bibles together. And out of that, 2 families have changed their religion from Muslim to Christianity. Not that we went to them and told them about Christian religion, but they have seen the action, the kind of love. It is not me as Markus, it is we that is sitting in this room for all the support that we are putting together. Whosoever prayed, whosoever give his own smile, his thought, sharing and others and contributing financially have led to rescue those families to become Christians. And people are moving back home, as I have said, but many people have been chased away. But from Michika to Mobi, at least it is a bit safe, and where UN headquarters is being situated, it is a bit safe. UN headquarters have moved totally to Kwarhi and many other cities that are close by, and we are hoping that peace is returning to normalcy. But again, these people are going back home to meet only ashes. There's no room to sleep, there is no water, there is no clinic, there is no school, which means they are starting a life afresh. There is no worshiping place. So much of them have went home and they met all the leftover of the metal zinc flying away. They collected all these rubbles and then built a shed where they are worshiping. Most of the churches there that I have visited presently, no church standing, but there is a shed where the Christians are worshiping. They are gathering. And we are hoping that we will be able to build these people by prayers and by all support of agriculture, where they will be able to produce their own food. They will be able to have food enough that they could probably save some and sell for their medication and sell for children's school fees. And then when they are strong again, they will be able to build the church. So we're looking at building the people first, and then we will see how the church will be growing by itself. Even now that they are worshiping under the rubbles, you will see joy and happiness, singing and dancing and praising God. And I want to thank you also for all the support that you are rendering, and we will continue to pray for the growth of the gospel.
One of the things that I will say that Brother Markus is too humble to say is that the vision for an IDP camp for Muslims and Christians living together was his vision. And it's an incredible vision. So I thank you for that.
Thank you.
And it's the sort of thing that I think we want to support as well, recognizing that, we're all in this together. So my question is, now that the move has taken place and new violence has erupted, how are things going with, the business of the church, and now that leadership has moved back to the Northeast?
The biggest challenge for the church as of now is that EYN is structured in a way that we have daily Sunday collection, and that daily Sunday collection, some percentage is going for EYN headquarters to operate its own business. But some churches are there under the shed. They are not able to raise enough money to pay their pastors. And so many pastors up to now have not found their place because the churches are destroyed and they are hanging somewhere. That is true. And second part of it is that the EYN headquarters itself are not able to do their own business in 100% full operation because the finances is not there. That is another biggest challenge. And they are hoping to see that even these pastors that are displaced, they should get a meager stipend to feed their family because they don't automatically, they left their own hometown, they were employed by the church, they have lost everything, even their own brothers have lost everything. The church is struggling to see that they should get a little stipend to have something to feed with their children. Of course, their children are not even going to school. So some of us, as a colleague, that our children are going to school, we feel guilty for others that their children are still at home. Although we cannot help everybody, but at least it is a sense of act that we should be doing something to see that they are able to do. So presently, when we talk about business, in our own culture, the EYN leadership will not be able to tell you their difficulties openly, but the truth of the matter is that they are finding it very difficult.
Questions? Yes. Sonia.
Thank you. I wondered if you could talk about the girls that have recently been released and what the status of that is and with the military and all of that. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm taking you back. Larry and Sonia were my host 2012 or 2013. I didn't know that I was very close to Bethany. I was in their house for either 2 days or so with a group from the Nigerian. When I saw them today, I said, "Are you guys here?" They said, "We live just close by." I didn't know that I was even here in Richmond. Thank you so much for your question. The release of these girls, there are so many factors to it. It is political. It is also a sympathy by the Boko Haram for Buhari government being a president of Nigeria as a Muslim. And I always say that I cannot preempt it because Buhari himself, before he was elected, he was named as a spokesman for the Boko Harams. And then he turned it down, he neglected. He said, "I'm not ready to do it," but the Boko Haram enforced that he must be their spokes leader. So I, as a Nigerian and also involved in politics and meeting with Muslims on almost on daily basis, having all the Muslim background, I have my own individual suspect for that in a court. Now, when Buhari came into power, before the election, the past government have already suppressed the power of Boko Haram. That is a true fact, because I'm coming from that region. My brothers and sisters that have been seeing how Boko Haram have been having their own supplies by helicopters, having their ammunition, having their guns. This is something that people witness with their eyes. And they will call you in the middle of the night, "Okay, they have dropped something there. We are seeing them collecting some supplies." When Jonathan was about to quit the office, he has really suppressed all these powers. In those areas, when my brothers have been sleeping on trees, going to the mountain, hiding, and the rest of them, some few of them, women more especially, could sleep in their houses to cook food and take food to the bush to the men. Men were on the danger list. All this was a bit down. But now when he came in, these people, of course, coming from the same religion, have a sympathy for the government. This is my own take. This is my personal thinking with the analysis of what is happening. So the Boko Harams who are now holding these girls captive, not only the Chibok girls, but we have so many from different towns that have been abducted. Not only the girls, young men. Not only young men, some professionals, doctors, and the builders, nurses, and the rest of them have been abducted. They are now working for them. And all these analyses have not been explained to the world. Their own operation being successful, the honest truth about it is that they have captured militaries, they have captured policemen, all sorts of professionals. And professors like him that have been on the list, they have captured all of them to lecture them and to teach them about technology and other things. Even though these people said that Boko Haram is forbidden, Western education is forbidden, but they have taken people that have acquired Western education to teach them. So the release of these girls, I cannot say a single word that this is the reason, but I know that they have a sympathy for the government and they are trying to play it down. The election in 2019 is coming closer, that the credit should be going to Buhari to repeat another tenure or whatsoever, but on the practical ground, Professor Musa may have time to explain more to you. That is it. These girls was released, and there's many words have been said about how they were released, either negotiation or not, or paying ransom or not. But all that I know personally is about politics. It's about having more sympathy for the government of a Muslim president. We will continue to witness such things, and we will see what is going to happen. We pray. Whether politics or not, what we want is to have the Chibok girls back to home. That is our prayer. And let them play their dirty politics or whatsoever. The EYN church leadership have witnessed a Thanksgiving service in Abuja under the facility of State Security Service, in the hospitals of the State Security Service. They were there. The parents of the Chibok girls were there. They worshipped all together. Not that these girls have been released to their parents under their care. They are still under the care of the government, but at least they have set eyes with their parents. They hugged each other. They were able to identify themselves. The church was fully represented. The church organized that service. And this is also, according to our own Christian faith, our prayers are working, and it is coming up. God will take them from their hands. Yes, Father.
Thank you. Other questions?
We're hearing news reports of famine or pending famine. Could you say more about that?
About family what?
Famine.
Like the food.
New ones?
New one.
Oh! Famine. Jauro is struggling with his English. She taught me shorthand. Probably I need to go back to her class. The truth of the matter is, up to now, Baba, we have 22 camps in Maiduguri. We have 22 camps in Maiduguri. We have camps in Yola. We have camps around Abuja. Uncountable camps are there. And even in Benin City, we have camps there where the UN president went there. But those in Borno and the northern part of Adamawa, they have no food to eat. They have no food to eat. I spoke about corruption. The federal government have tried to send food into Maiduguri. So much of these trucks have been diverted into market. Some of the officials have been bribed, and then the food have been taken into market. You could see the writing on the bag, but it is being sold in the market. The economy is dwindling. The economy is just collapsing on a daily basis. Even those that have the money are finding it difficult to survive, and talk less of the displaced persons. And so much women and children are under malnutrition. Some old age people dying in the camps. We have witnessed this, and many people, that is why Gurku camp presently, we have 170 families. We were having only 79 families. Now we have 170 families because people are trooping out from there, coming to see a place where they could plant their crops. It is dangerous up to now in Borno State, in places where he came from originally in Lassa, for you to go out and plant a crop because you will be killed. Even after when the crops have germinated and have grown fully for harvest, they will come and cut it with cutlass. They will put fire on it. It will be destroyed. You can't go there you alone. You need to have people with you. You are bending down to farm and somebody is watching whether the Boko Harams will come or not. How many hours would you put into that work and for you to produce food for your family? And because of culture and inheritance of land, our people are so desperate that they cannot leave this land like that. They have to come back and claim their inheritance. And in the process of claiming this inheritance, people got killed. So the issue of famine is actually on the increase. All that we are giving supplies, even for the people in Abuja and Yola and the rest of them, they are trying to send a meager amount, either by money or by crops, sending down home for people to survive on it. This is an issue the government itself and other non-governmental organizations are really worried about it. And on this trip, it has been our dream with Dale and Deb to see that we are able to come up with a model of an agric unit. How could these people produce food in the camps and then send food back home for those that are trapped there? How would we be able to support them in agriculture? At least to have a machine to till the ground, giving the grain and other support that we will be able to give. How can we produce more food where they are a little bit safe and send down this food to them? Than giving food every year to them, it is not even enough because we can't supply all the food to them. But let those people that are in a safe place produce this food and we will be able to take to their doorstep. And this will not only benefit the Christians alone, this will also benefit the Muslims because we have the camp of the Muslims and Christians. They will be grouped into 10 families. We will be able to help them, then they can produce the food, enough for themselves and for others.
Just as he said, I spoke with my sister yesterday and my cousin this afternoon from Maiduguri. Christopher, our son, works with the Doctors Without Borders, and he was in Nigeria just about 2 weeks ago. And he reported that at least, 134 to 150 children die of malnutrition in Maiduguri. This is what my son said. He saw it. They only had two staff members of the Doctors Without Borders in Maiduguri. Now they have beefed it to 40 Doctors Without Borders working in these IDP camps in Maiduguri. My sister, my blood sister, works in the social welfare, and she's in charge of several camps. And like he said, rice worth 145 million naira was diverted by the government officials and sold. Yesterday, I was trying to chatting with Bitrus Pogu. Bitrus is the leader of the Chibok community. He was my student. He read chemistry. And already, like he said, it's all political campaign. If you ask people in Nigeria, ask the government, how were these girls released? Who negotiated for their release? Where were they brought from? Nobody tells you. No. You only find them in Abuja.
No evidence.
No evidence. And even the military leaders did not know how the girls were released. And yesterday they said, Pogu was saying he was part of the negotiation team. They are now negotiating for the 83 others that are remaining. But 100, according to Pogu, and he confirmed it together with Kenki and one other Chibok man who said 100 of those girls kidnapped have already said they would not come back to their parents. They have been brainwashed, and they would rather remain with their Boko Haram husbands because they already have children with them. It's very sad. Unfortunately, Jia, close to Chibok, the village was completely burnt down, and they went away with their goats, their sheep, and their foodstuff. And to my shock, about 20 soldiers were killed.
Yeah.
And their spokesperson had a press release yesterday, and he said, so many soldiers are missing.
Yeah.
How? Where? And I've told you, the U.S. has decided to send in drones. They are now in Agadez, in Niger Republic. And our people are all frightened. The Muslims, the Christians, the Boko Haram, the government are all frightened of the American drone because they believe that many, many civilians would be killed. And just last night, one of the girls that was released, Gloria was begging the government not to go and bomb the Sambisa forest because these girls are still inside Sambisa forest. And she was begging the government not to use the Nigerian Air Force to bomb the Sambisa forest because her sisters and cousins and other nephews and nieces are still there inside that forest. So we don't know how they are going to do it. We still continue to pray. And like he said, Lhasa is completely destroyed, completely again. They went back last week and killed most of our people who went back home to start farming. Unfortunately, there is nothing we can do about it. We keep on praying, and we hope the Lord will intervene. With the rainy season, probably dry season now coming, it's going to be worse.
Yes, Baba.
I think we have time for one more question. Anybody?
Okay. Probably before another question, my brother Del would like to come and say a word. Um,
I would like to say it was quite a pleasure for Deb and I to take a trip in December. We left on December 27th and returned on January 10th. And Marcus took very good care of us in Nigeria. He arranged everything for us. He showed us around. And so when we found out that he was coming and going to do a trip, it was not even a second thought for us to be able to transport Marcus from place to place. And so it's been very good. I have 9 children. 7 are living. I have 7 children. 5 are living. I have 2 children. 1 is living. These are stories that we heard from women in the IDP camps when we talked in Nigeria. It is the way that women talk about their children and those that are no longer with them.
That was a very, that's become a very important part of our story also, because we can say we have 2 children, 1 is living. Our son Paul was killed riding his bicycle at McPherson College about 4 years ago. And so that's been a journey, and as we prepared for this journey, it was very easy for me to understand why people in Nigeria may be kind of stuck. I heard someone say, well, they just aren't moving. And I thought, no kidding. I know a little bit of what it's like to lose a son, but I did not lose my home. I did not lose my job or my church family who provided for me meals for 3 months, among many other things. And so I had that background on my journey there. And when we went to the IDP camps, we were there to visit with them and to listen to their stories. And I can just share one story with you. I was looking around and kind of had fallen behind the group a little bit, and Carl Hill had told us we will need to pray sometimes with people. So I went into the courtyard, and Carl says, we need a prayer. Deb, will you pray? I was already late. I didn't know what was going on. Roxanne said there's been an illness in the family, and then she said there's been a miscarriage. Well, that brought back lots of memories and thoughts. And I did not know if this woman was a Muslim or Christian. It didn't really matter. And so I prayed for health and for healing. And I prayed that we would know that God holds all of our children in his hands. And so that was a special moment on the trip for me. And I think of all the things that Marcus has shared, and it's a big, big situation. And I always wonder, what will my little part be? Does it make a difference? Will it make any difference? But they really do appreciate our prayers, our visits, our smiles. I think even just that prayer, whether this woman understood the English language or not, we understood each other's heart. And I think that's important.
I'm going to briefly tell you just a little story about the lamp. And you may have seen these. They were at annual conference. They were advertised at the annual conference. I taught woodworking for my career. And when we were deciding to go on this trip, Carl and Roxanne told us it might be good to be prepared to bring a gift for a host. And so I started thinking about things that I could do and decided on a lamp like this. It has a little vessel to put oil in. The wick's not here with it, but you would be able to put oil in it and burn this. And when I was thinking about making this, part of what my thinking was is the stories that we've heard about how Boko Haram has come and driven people from their homes, killed many people, displaced them, burned down their churches and such. And I've also heard that for the most part, the EYN has said, we will not retaliate. We will try to love our enemy. We will pray for the Boko Haram. And I thought, these people are the light of the world. And so I'm thinking about this, and I wrote up a little statement to give along with the lamp. and decided to use Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world." And when we arrived in Jos, which at the time when we were there was the temporary headquarters, we got there and saw that the motto on the sign is Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world." And I realized that it was not my decision to make the lamps, that I was guided to do that. And the story that I could write about this is this lamp is one of 12 that I made. We took 10 and gave 10 in Nigeria. We had 10 people in our group. Each person was able to present a lamp to somebody. And we presented a lamp to Carl and Roxanne Hill when we got home, and I selfishly kept one for myself to be able to share, to show people and share. The wood for this lamp is Nigerian rosewood, and it was sent to Henry Long in 1965. Henry Long was the executive officer for the Foreign Commission at that time. And shortly before he received the wood, he had spent 3 months in Nigeria, and he spent a lot of time with Clarence Heckman, who was a wood turner, and so was Henry, and they spent a lot of time working together. After Henry returned home here to Elgin, he was living in Elgin, he was living in Elgin at the time, and when he returned home to Elgin, a couple of weeks later, this big shipment of Nigerian rosewood showed up at his home. Henry moved to Elizabethtown, brought all his wood with him, and I spent a lot of time with Henry talking about wood turning and woodworking and doing some together. And after he died, Millie, his wife, his widow, asked 3 of us that were woodworkers in our church community if we'd help clean out his shop, and so I received some of the wood. And I used all of the wood that I could to make lamps, so I no longer have any of this. When I returned home, well, first of all, the lamps were very well appreciated. I think it was very important when they heard, the people who received them heard the story of how the wood came from Africa many, many years ago and then has come back to Nigeria. And so when I got home, I went to a local lumber yard. I bought bubinga, which is a wood that's native to Nigeria, and I made 20 lamps. And we talked with Carl, and we decided to put a challenge price. We put $500 as a challenge price on the lamps, and they've been selling. I think there are either 3 or 4 that are left. Roxanne Hill, I think, is holding them, and they can be purchased. 100% of the proceeds goes to the Nigeria Crisis Fund. A number of people asked me, $500, that's an awful lot of money for a lamp. And I said, you are not buying a lamp. You're buying hope for people in Nigeria. And with that $500 donation, you get a lamp to remember your donation. And so that made a difference for some people.
Thank you all very much. Thank you all for coming. We have some refreshments in the gathering area, so I hope that everyone will stay because we have a lot of them. And let me just conclude by saying that Bethany, we think, has a unique relationship that has yet to unfold, but will unfold in the coming years. And while we are not giving money or fertilizer or seeds for those kinds of projects, we're giving a different kind of seed and a different kind of fertilizer that will grow on both sides of the Atlantic. And so I hope that you will continue to think about and pray for this endeavor as it moves forward, and recognize that our product is education, and we want to be educated and to provide education. And the technical center that we hope to help EYN build in Nigeria is just a tool. It might be a $75,000 or $100,000 tool, but it'll be just a tool for helping that education to be seeded and to grow on both sides. And hopefully we'll both be better people for it. If we could pray before we leave and enjoy the refreshments. Holy, loving, and merciful God, we are so grateful for the opportunities that you give us in life. We know that it's not always easy. Sometimes there's war and violence. Sometimes there's too much money and too many material possessions that block us from being the people that we want to be. But we know that if we wait long enough, if we listen well enough, if we're patient enough, that eventually your Holy Spirit breaks through to us, no matter where we live, what language we speak, what part of the world we're from, what our level of education is. We pray, O God, that you would continue to bless EYN, help it to stay strong, help the North American Church be of real help, not just with money, but being present with them in their journey and them being present with us. We pray that the seminary would continue to be a place of education and one that really offers and lives out a relationship with EYN of equity and equal opportunity and equal dignity. Thank you for Marcus. Thank you for Dale and Deb who have been with him along this journey. And we pray that you would continue to bless Marcus's time in the U.S. and the people that he talks to and the lives that he touches. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.